You just don't hear too much about. You hear about working all states. You hear about DXCC, where you want to work and confirm 100 different countries. But not too many people know or care about county hunting. There's 3,077 counties in the United States of America. And Ed has worked them multiple times. I'll get to that in a few minutes. I'm a crazy guy too, because I've worked them once, and that's enough for me. But I am trying for the second time around. But what you can do is you take your old QSL cards, and you can use those as long as it says the county that the station was in. You can use that to count toward your county hunting. You can get a map book like this, and I keep track of the red ones, so the counties I've worked in the state of Oregon, a little more for Nevada, Missouri. I'm getting filled up here. But this is how I keep track of what counties I need. And there's certain frequencies on the radio, we'll get into that in a few minutes, you can listen, because the real crux of the whole thing here is mobile stations going out into the county and in essence saying, here I am in Leelanau County. If you need that county, give me a call. We'll exchange signal reports, and then you can count this as a worked Leelanau County. We have these mobile reply cards. If I work on multiple different counties, I list all the counties. I send this to him in the mail. He verifies that he worked me in these counties and signs it and sends it back to me. So the point is, but it's going to cost you 2 stamps. A stamp to send it to Ed, and a stamp envelope for him to return it back to me. So that's one of the things we do. The covenant thing here, well, here, I had some notes here. I just want to say, this is about having fun. You don't have to do this, obviously. You don't have to work all states either. But it's helping other people to achieve this award. It's not for normal people. Like I say, you got to be a little bit crazy and a bunch of nuts to persevere all this. There's about 50 people or so that are on the air putting out counties every single day. They're actually traveling around in their car, going to various counties, getting on the frequencies on 20, 40, and other bands, and as we say, putting out the county. If you can hear them, you try and work them. Other stations, there's a net control station, they might relay you into the mobile station. And what you need to do is exchange signal reports, and you got to hear each other. The mobile station's got to hear you. You might end up with a 3-3 signal report, but at least you get that report, that definitely counts. And like I say, mobiles are the key to get out there. There's a lot of counties that do not have an amateur radio station in the county. And so we have to rely upon mobile stations going there and putting out that county. Nome, Alaska, for example, has 2,000 people in that county. And there's only one ham radio station in that whole county. And he's not necessarily active on county hunting. But like I keep saying, we rely upon on that. There's the coveted award here. Let me just show you. This is what we're working for. It's put out by CQ magazine. This big deal. This happens to be mine, and I framed it up. And it's got multiples here of you work 1,000 counties, and then you get a sticker, and you get up to 2,000 counties, you get another sticker, and so on. But this one was awarded to me March 25, 2004. Now, this year there was 1,249 person was given his certificate. So that's not too many, all things considered. I think last year 5 new people were awarded this particular certificate of working all the counties. Some quick stories, we'll get into Ed because he's got a lot to say. But I was down to needing, I'm just going to make up a number, 7 different counties. And 6 of them were over in Wisconsin, Minnesota. Ed was going over there, so he said, I'm going to be putting out these counties. You listen for me, and I'll listen for you, and I'll try and get you these counties, which he did do. I worked the 5 or 6 that I needed, and then I was down to Lawrence, Pennsylvania. And now Ed's son, Tim, lives near Flint, and W-H-J-J by call. But he was saying, well, you know, Dad, if Joe, you get all the counties for Joe and he just needs that 1 county left, in a week or 2 I'll travel over there and, you know, work counties on the way over there, but I'll get Joe his last county, which was fine. But Ed called him on a Thursday and said, Joe's got all the counties, it's up to you now. So he says, well, I can't wait 2 weeks, I'm so excited about this. And that Saturday, he jumped into the car and drove over through Ohio, on the edge of Pennsylvania, and got me this last county. And it was a giggle for me. He took a picture of his car on the Lawrence County line with his calls showing, and this is a certificate thing that he got to me verifying the last one for the whole ball of wax is the phrase we use. But so I obviously framed this for my safekeeping. But it was really neat. On 20 meters, the skip was just out of this world. I could not hear him at all. So they said, well, he's going to go to 40 meters, which he did do, and 73.88. Okay, and I swear, you know, I'm not exaggerating, it was the loudest signal I ever heard in my life. But of course, my ears were really perked up. But anyway, we did that.
Did you park on the right side of the line?
That was my question.
Did you park on the right side of the line?
Yeah.
Well, it's the antenna.
The antenna is showing there. When a person works the last county for somebody, you get them this little plaque for their hand shack. Now, Dwayne, K8ZZ from Gladstone, Michigan, called me up one time on a landline and said, Joe, I'm down to the very last one. It happens to be Benzie County. And it's kind of close to you. Would you be willing to go over there and get me and work me so I could get my last county? So I told Ed about it, and he says, well, don't put your radios in your car and all that sort of stuff. We'll take my car over there, you'll be in the passenger seat, and we'll get him his last county. So with his equipment and my call letter, we worked him his last county. So then he submits this little thing here, Achievement Award, to me. Joe, thanks for the last one for USACA. The whole bowl of wax that his calls down there, but it's from MARAC, Mobile Amateur Radio Awards Club is what that stands for. But so this has a significant meaning to me, and Ed's got about a couple dozen, don't you?
I've given out 488 last counties for people.
Sure. Yeah. Last counties, but for the whole bottle of wax.
Whole bottle of wax, I've got 15. 15,
okay. So anyway, this is just an introduction, if you will, to something that's kind of neat. Like I say, you've got to be crazy. And a little bit about Ed. Now, Ed has worked all of the counties on sideband. He's worked it a second time, all the counties, 3,077. He's got what they call a bingo award. Now this is mind-boggling for me, of course, never mind. To get the bingo award, you make a contact with somebody in Leelanau County, and that station has already worked all of the counties. And then you go to Benzie County, and you work a station there, and that station, again, has already worked all of the 3,077 counties. So it's, like I say, it's called the Bingo Award. It's kind of mind-boggling for my Polish mind, but I've got it all figured out. The other thing that Ed is crazy about doing now is going to, hang in there, going to all of the counties, 3,077, and transmitting from those counties. And he'll talk a little bit more about that. There's only been, I think, 17 people that have done that, and one guy has done it twice. I mean, he's got nothing else to do, and but he's been to all of the. You think about going to Hawaii and the 4 islands you have to go to for counties. You pack up your rig and you collapse your antenna and you rent a car and you put a magnet mount on top and with your antenna and you go to all these counties and transmit from there. And same with Alaska for the counties up there. So anyway, I guess that pretty well covers what I want to say. Without further ado, the biggest nut here.
Joe, you want to take care of these? Here's, you know, it's the Mobile Amateur Radio Awards Club that you get all the awards. I listed all the sideband CW and digital frequencies that we work from. And here's the marac.org website. Will get you all the information you want. Or call Joe and pester him.
Yeah.
And he'll give you all the information. I was here a few years ago, spoke with you people about my Hawaii trip. How many were here for that one? Oh, there was quite a few here. Okay. Yeah, that was that was a trip, and this presentation, I'm just going to wing it. Ernie asked me late to come up here and flap my jaws, and he couldn't get anybody else, so I'm the bottom of the rung, you know. So. Anyway, what Joe mentioned, that Hawaii trip, yes, I'm trying to transmit from all 3,077 on CW. I've got 901 to go, which means math-wise, I guess I got about a third left. Most of them are west of the Mississippi. They're big counties. You drive a long way before you get another one, but I'll get it. God gives me about probably 4 or 5 more years, I'll have them all. But the Hawaii trip was very interesting. I'll just do a real quick synopsis on that. Like Joe said, we packed up everything, and it's really nothing anymore because I do it all the time. I just got back from state of Washington with the same equipment I took to Hawaii. I flew into Portland, Oregon in January, and I ran the whole state of Washington, part of Idaho, and then 20 counties in northern Oregon, and of course you leave no holes. Every county that I ran outside of Washington connected to Washington, so you never leave a hole. Everything, all the counties are connected. And I flew out of Traverse. There was 3 hours time difference. I left in the morning. I got the rental car. I had the rental car up and running in 30 minutes. I was running counties. It's that simple anymore. But that's what I did in Hawaii. I was on 12 different flights. I was gone for 3 weeks. I went to all the islands, rented a car, because I had to transmit from them. And but you got to remember, folks, when I go to these counties, it's not just to transmit from them. I'm also a tourist. You know, I spent a minimum of 2 nights and 3 days on every island, including Molokai. And there's nothing there. In fact, the car that I rented, I think was a 1999 or something. That's all they had. And I drove on every road by 4 o'clock in the afternoon the first day. But I still spent 2 nights and 3 days there just to see everything there. So that was an interesting trip. Propagation was so-so. When I was on Molokai, the county line of Molokai and Maui, there was a state park up there, and it was up high, and that was the only thing that kind of saved my bacon there because I was able to run both of them from one spot. And on CW, you have a little better chance than sideband. I did do sideband just for the folks, and I didn't make very many contacts on sideband, but I was pretty busy on CW. And the worst part of the thing on when I was on a county line of Molokai and Maui was somebody posted me on the DX cluster on CW. Okay, now that's the last thing I want, you know. I mean, I didn't care about giving up, but I wasn't there to contest. I'm an old contester. I've given a lot of 48 hours away in my life sitting on contests. But somebody posted me, and there was an opening for the JAs. So any of you DXers, when there's an opening and you get to Japan coming in, let me tell you, you're going to be there for a while. And I did run them for about 4 hours, and I finally just pulled the plug because that was just no fun. I wanted to give my fellow county hunters in the States needed that contact. And every once in a while I had to go back and tell them U.S. only, U.S. only, and then they don't listen. And they will not. They were relentless. So that was fun. I do mostly CW. Every once in a while, and Joe has a green light to call me on the phone, and he's wah, 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 you know, can you find your mic? I need Branson, Missouri, you know, and he doesn't do CW, so he cries his way into me hooking up the mic, and I'll get on. And of course, then everybody's on, they hear me on, and they say, oh, he's on sideband, you know, so then they think I'm going to do sideband every county, and then my phone won't stop ringing. But anyway, that's from that part of it, but yeah, I have worked them all. They started this award program back in 1960. It was 2009 when I finished getting them all on CW for the first time. And my award number is 100. So from 1960 until 2009, 100 people have done it all on CW. So it's a tough award, guys. It's a tough award. DXCC, 100 countries. Yeah, that's a hell of a feat. But I've done that in a weekend. Many a weekend I've got 100 countries in a contest. I've worked all WAS one weekend. Try to do that with the counties. It doesn't work that way. Last time I did WAS in a contest, I had them all except Hawaii, because I was running unassisted, which means you can't look at a cluster. And Hawaii was on that day, but I just didn't happen to catch him. He didn't come to me. But the point I'm making is, if you want to get into this, be ready to strap them on, because you're going to be there for a while. This is not for the short-hearted, but it's a lot of fun. You don't have to do CW. There's probably more doing phone, but I think CW is getting probably about 50-50 now, isn't it, Joe? I mean, there's a lot of people, and people say CW is dead, you know, when they took the regulation away. There's more CW operators now than there was when they said we don't have to do it anymore. And ham licenses are up. We've never had so many ham licenses as we have now. Now, a lot of them aren't going any farther than tech. There's a lot of questions where you guys want me to go with this. I'm on the road. This awards club would not work without the mobiles. The mobiles are the ones, like Joe said, there's no counting. You have to have somebody go drive through, okay? You got to start with equipment. You got to have a setup. And you have to have a good setup if you want to be effective. I'll brag a little bit. I get emails all the time, want to know what I'm running because I'm the loudest one out there. Well, it's probably because I do some things right before I ever put a radio. It takes me between 8 and 10 hours to get my vehicle ready before I ever put a radio in it. 8 to 10 hours. Everybody gets this new radio, they want to put it in and go, no. That's the last thing that goes in. The last thing that goes in is a radio. The first thing that I have to do is you have to bond that vehicle. Your vehicle is what? Second part of a dipole. You have to get it bonded. You gotta, well, this is the way I do it. I'm not telling anybody you have to do anything. But you know, you have to have that. I have that vehicle bonded. I have it bonded from the vehicle to the radiator to the block. Every door's got straps on it. And one of the big things people forget about, is so important, is the tailpipe. You got to put 2 straps from the frame to the tailpipe because that's an antenna. You have to bond this vehicle. I run an SUV. I run a Toyota Highlander right now. They're big. They're high. I never get a moonroof. I do all the ground plane I can, and I use a 60-inch 5/8 aluminum mast on the center of that truck. And I put hustlers vertical, or I mean horizontal. I had some hubs made, I tapped them out myself, where the hustler resonators are sitting horizontal. You know, when you buy hustlers, you get this little 30-degree mount that they go up, and everybody thinks you got to have them at 30-degree angle. I've been in antenna shootouts. There is no difference. There is no difference. You can put them horizontal, and that's why I run 4 bands, and so I'm up there 60. I'm up at 12 feet, almost 12 feet, 11:10 or something. So the underpasses are 12.6. And when you get into Kentucky, Tennessee, you check every single time, or you do repair on the road, which I have done. You have to take them up, go through, and put them back on. So, if there's any antenna people in here, I know Chuck, he knows exactly where we're coming from because, you know, the mast radiates, the resonators resonate. You have to have the mast. These people go out with 24-inch mast, or even a 36-inch mast, and put it on their bumper hitch and wonder why nobody can hear them. No, they're not going to hear them. You're going to hear a certain amount wherever that 500-mile hop is. I go 30 meters CW, I go coast to coast on CW. 30 meters, coast to coast. Why? Because I did my homework. Does anybody remember last time I talked, somebody asked me the question, what's the #1 problem when you broke down on a road mobile? I know there's somebody, I know Doc probably remembers it. Voltage. Voltage will put you out of business on the road 98% of the time. Because you don't run enough wire, big wire, from the battery direct. Never run anything through your car. You run from the battery direct to a block inside and tap everything off that block. And you have to have at least a number 10 wire. And depending on what kind of radio you run, like the ICOM 7000, one of the most popular mobile radios out there, is very voltage sensitive. They are finicky, finicky, finicky. If they don't get 13.5 volts, they're going to cut out on it. I run an ICOM, I did have an ICOM. I run a Elkin KX3 now. I had a K3 in there. I run a K8ZZ now. That's the small head with the 100-amp receiver under the seat. It's the #1 received radio on the market right now. And it does a great job on the road, and it doesn't care. That thing will fluctuate 4 volts either way and just be happy all day long. But I also run a voltage booster where my voltage never changes. I can leave the radio on, start my car, and you can't even see a movement on the LED. That's what you have to do. If you're going to go out there and spend that money, you got to have the equipment. So I got, and the guy's right here in Michigan, K8ZZ something, but he's the one that makes the best voltage booster out there. And that thing is rock solid, folks, rock solid. I run a computer. Okay, what do computers do? They're hatched, they get hatched. You have to have a good inverter. No, a $59 inverter from Ace Hardware or Best Buy won't work. It won't work. There's not enough torides in it, and it will not take it. You're going to have noise. I can turn my key on, and I have nothing on the meter in that vehicle. Nothing. You don't know if the radio's on or off. Zero. Now that inverter that I use is $265. There's not many people who will pay $265 for an inverter because you can get one for $59 at Ace Hardware. But you get what you pay for. The one I use is the one that they use in ambulances. Okay? Starting to click. You know? I'm on a heart monitor. I think I want that inverter to kind of hold where it's supposed to be. I've got all that stuff listed on my K8ZZ page, including that inverter, even the number of it, because I've given that people have called me from all over the country and asked me about that. So that's the equipment end of it that you, in a nutshell. I run hustlers, and I've been the other round. You know, I've had a high Q, spent, you know, $800–900 for motorized and get all the bands and blah, 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 blah. And I went through the high Q and the high Sierra and, you know, Tar Heels is so overrated. But there's nothing better for me than a hustler because I have quick band change, okay? I don't have time to fool around. When I go through a county, especially like I got to go down and finish up Georgia, they're small. And there's a lot of them. I don't have time to be waiting. So I've got 20, 30, 40, and 17 mounted. That's all I run. Okay? I have a tuner. All my hustlers are tuned to CW. If somebody wants sideband, that KX3 has got a 10-to-1 tuner in it that is just out of this world. That thing would tune anything. And all I do is hit it, and that'll carry me through my sideband. But I like the hustlers because when I change band, it's the rest. Boom, 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 boom. And I don't have time to wait. You know, there's... Anybody want to know? I've done the spreadsheet, so I know within probably 10,000 or less miles what I'm going to have on totally by finishing all 3,077. Anybody want to guess how many miles I'm going to have driven to transmit? Now, don't include Hawaii, the distance there. You can throw some miles in driving the islands, but don't consider the miles flying to Alaska or flying to... How many miles am I going to drive? Anybody got any idea to do all 3,077?
500,000 miles.
Half that. It's going to be about 245,000 miles. How much is that going to cost to run that? I've got that figure too. Oh, how I know. It's $1 a mile. It's $1 a mile for every car. That's what the spreadsheet is out of 2/3 done. Okay? Now, you got to remember, I'm a tourist out there too. I'm not doing this just to give Joe 3,077 cows. Every place I go is a story. Every day on the road is a story. It doesn't matter if I see the colored bridges in Vermont in October, because I'm very season sensitive when I run what? When I ran Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, when did I go? Second week of October. And I saw with my own eyes, when you're at the airport, you're thumbing through the magazines, you know, these covered bridges in Vermont in the fall foliage, all colored pretty on that glossy page. I saw that. See, I saw that. That's a story. You know, the Adirondacks in the state of New York, when I ran New York. When did I do that? In the fall. Miles of color in those mountains. I run the southern states in the winter. I got to go down and finish up Georgia. That's been bugging me. I may do that this summer. But So that's kind of a rough synopsis, and you guys got a lot of questions, and I've done DX for years. I'm a contester. Joe's dad, him and I took first place in the ARR Riddy contest twice, and Joe's dad and I were going to get together. He always wanted to run a Riddy contest with me, and God didn't give me enough time. But so I've done a lot of facets in this hobby. But this county hunting is just it is a little goofy. Meds won't cure it. You just got to go out there and do it. It won't, when it draws, like I say, in January I went out to run Washington. I needed a fix. And I haven't done that part. I've got half of Montana done. Half of Montana all the way to Michigan is done. So when I go run the Northwest Territory of Montana, what am I going to do? I'm not driving out there. I got to drive through Michigan's done, Wisconsin's done, I got to drive through Minnesota's done, I got to drive through North Dakota's done. I drive through stuff that I've already done for 3 days. So I fly into Billings. I run in counties the same day. See, so there's a real process. I got a map. I should have brought my laptop. I got my laptop of the whole U.S. and every county of the whole U.S. And every time I transmit from it, I color it. So it's color coded. And it's pretty impressive. And that's what I use when I set up my trip. It's all connect the dots. I have that on one screen. I always use 2 screens at home when I set up my trips. I got that on one screen and the other one over here. And then I just connect the dots of where I'm going. And you leave no holes. I screwed up in Oklahoma. I missed one county here, and my next row of county in Missouri coming down is over here, and I got to drive through 2 counties to get this one. I got one hole over there because I just missed it. Poor planning. But I'll get it. I'm going to kind of throw it out for some questions, because you guys can take me wherever you want to take me. I didn't have a PowerPoint presentation or anything. Let me go back to some of this. People say, well, how do we know? Now, let's get, I told you about Georgia, okay? Now, you guys are counting. How do you know when I'm going to Georgia, what counties am I? We have an international, and I say worldwide, international board where it's called a needs or special trip. If Joe needs 3 counties, he can put his needs on there, and I'm going to take him the next trip, and Joe's down in Georgia and says, ooh, he needs this, this, and this. Well, I'm going to Georgia, so when I make out my trip, I'll take and put his call sign right there. So I know that I'm going to be listening for him on CW. Not. But anyway, so that's what we do. We list the needs, and then we have a board where you list the trip. Like when I make the trip to Georgia, I don't do it as precise as some people, because, come on, this is county hunting. What do you want me to do? Call you when I get to the county too? No, I don't go. I'm kind of crotchety when it comes to that. I'll list the counties that I'm going to go to. I will not list the day I'm going to be there. And my phone will ring. Well, do you know about what time you're going to be there? I said, hell, I don't even know what day I'm going to be there. But see, some guys have spoiled you guys, where they know they're going to run 8 counties that day, they're going to spend the night in Jones County, they're going to be quitting at 5 o'clock. And then the people, they know, I've got to have a doctor's appointment in the morning because I've got to be here in the afternoon sitting by that radio. Can't miss Jones County. So I don't do that. All I do is list, I'll be in Georgia, I'm leaving on June 8th, I plan to be back on the 26th. And I'll list it. That's the best I'm doing for you. So, if you have any sense at all, you'll see real quick, he's listed them after the first day, how he's going to run them. They're not hopscotch. He's written down from his, connect the dots, just exactly how his trip is going. Now, we do that, okay? And Joe, guys like my friend Joe, he's got the green light. He can call me anytime he wants. Texting is getting to be a big thing now, especially with me because I know I won't answer my phone. So they'll text me, and after the run, I'll look at my text, and somebody will say, you know, 30 meters, or will you go back to 17, or something like that. Whether I do or not, that's, you know, I don't have to. I do sometimes, sometimes I don't, just depends. And at the end of the day, I mean, I run a lot of CW, you know, I mean, I can go through 1,500 contacts in a day. You know, so somebody asking me some special favors about 5:30 at night is probably a negative. You know, I've had all the damn CW that I want to run.
How do you log all this stuff?
I do a couple ways. I've got a digital recorder. When traffic is bad, snowstorm, rain, I hate sitting in a motel and transcribing my run. Despise it with a passion. But I do. Most of the time I got a pilot's pad strapped to my leg, and I do the calls in shorthand. So I got CW driving, 2 GPSs, computer gone, and logging in shorthand and driving. Probably not a good move. Okay? My son, a little smarter than Dad now, he has really been on me, and I've been listening to him. He said, just go county line to county line. You can run 2 counties. You know, if you're on a county line, you can run both counties. He said, just stop that. He's, you know, I'm going to be 73, and he said, you still think you're 40. And he said, you're way too busy. Probably is. He's probably right. So I've been doing a lot more county lines now. But yeah, when I'm driving, that's how I do it. But I can do shorthand. You got to remember, I know what 80% of the county hunters, and there's thousands out there. But you know, WATVT, you know, that would just be TVT. And I don't care about the signal report. You know, all we have to do is exchange it. Everybody's 5'9" to me. Same with contesting. Everybody's 5'9". We made a report. Now, there is some county hunters that are that anal. If it's 3'3", it's 3'3". If it's 5'5", 9, it's 5'5". I don't care. A signal report's a signal report. But I do a shorthand. N4CD, the guy who has transmitted from all the counties twice, is working on the 3rd time right now. You know, N4CD, it's just CD. And I don't put them all in everything's computerized log, but I only put 1 contact from every county. Every time I change county, when I get home, I put that in the computer, so when I get all these MRCs come in to sign, first thing I do, look, was I there at this time? Then I can go to the book. If I wasn't even there, and that has never happened to me, I don't have to go to the book. Or my scratch pad. But yeah, I have to keep track of them, and I do. And there's another thing coming out right now, of course, me and my gadgets. There's a thing, what is it called? QRP something. They've made a gadget that it's just about that high, that sits on the side of the K8ZZ Elecraft, that I can program it in on CW, like what county I'm in on the county line, and use that as a memory and send it so I don't have to tap it out. And that will log all my contacts. And then I can ADIF file, download them in. So I'm really looking at that. I looked at it today. That's, you know, this innovation of ham radio, it's the smartest bunch of people you ever want to meet. I swear to God, you know. They've really got it. So I'm real interested in that. Equipment, I don't care what you want. Yes, you want me to run CW on field day. What else you want?
Yes. No, Joe was saying something about these bingo, something or other. How do you know what people out there have already done this?
Because we have a logging program made by a county. When Joe says, you know, I've worked them all on phone, I've worked them all on CW, I've worked them all mixed, and I've also worked everybody, I've worked them once from everybody that's already worked them once, if that makes sense. Okay? And I've only got 10 to go to finish the feat of, okay, the bingo, you work them all once. Then I worked all you people again that have worked them once. Now this time, I've only got 10 to go, have worked them all twice. And I've got 10 counties to go, and then I go into a platinum league because there's not very many people who have done that, and then they're all going to want to work me like I need to be more busy out there because now they're going to want to work me because I've done that. But I've got 10 to go. I've got 6 in Georgia, 2 in Alabama. Oh, I got the one in Florida. No, I have only got a 6, 7, 8, I got 9. Yeah, 6 in Georgia, 2 in Alabama, and I'm going to get those this month. KN4Y is going to get those for me. And then I got Flathead, Montana hanging out. That's a long way away. Mary from the Mini, AB7NK, she's going to go out to Montana, she said, and get that if nobody gets that when I get these others. So I've got them all covered. I just got to get them. But yeah, I've been monkeying around with these last ones for about a year. I haven't worked real hard at it because I really don't care. But now that it's that close, I got people beating on me to get them done so that you'll be good for something else. Yes?
I think you covered this in your presentation on mobile operations, but can you go over it again? How can you fly into Portland and have the car ready for contacts in 30 minutes?
Well,
instead of 10 hours.
Well, this is a rental car. That's not my regular car.
Right.
That I don't have the bonding around. Okay. That's just a makeshift deal. I use mag mount. I have my antenna in 3 sections, and that all goes in a 6-inch fishing fly rod kit. Everything goes in that. And then I have another bag, the inverter, my radio goes in with my shorts on the plane. That never gets anywhere. And the key. And I lost the key and the keyer, by the way, in Hawaii, TSA, $600 worth. Bagali keyer. Yeah. So when I get to the parking lot, in fact, this one I did at AB7RW's house. He lived only 30 minutes from the airport. I had met the guy before. He said, come over to my place. We got to his driveway, just dumped everything out, and just started driving. In 30 minutes, I was on the air. Power supply is easy. People say, well, geez, power. That's easy to say. That's 30 seconds. I got my power leads with, and it's fused at the battery, positive and negative. So you can ground them, positive and negative. People don't ground or negative sometimes. You're just asking for trouble. And I got clamps. I just clamp it on. I run it on top of the cowling of the hood. Shut the hood, open the passenger side door, stick the wire through the door, shut the door. Power's there. Yeah, it's hanging out the side of the rental car. What do I care? Joe, 5 minutes and shut. 5 minutes, you're up. Shut. Yes, sir.
Do you specify a particular brand of rental car because of noise?
I always go with. I'm retired from General Motors, but I always go with a Ford. Yep. Any foreign car. And this is, you know, I drive a Toyota. I had 2 Hondas before that because of noise. Ford is the absolute worst. The F5, that 150 pickup, something with the fuel pump in the gas tank or something. I don't understand that. The Ford people maybe know. That's the world's worst. And they can get it out. There's some hands that figured out some ways of getting that out. But yeah, any foreign car is the quietest one out there. I always run a foreign car. I don't care what it is, it'll work. Yes, sir.
So when you say you're bonding the parts, that's better than them already being bolted together?
Yes.
There must be some insulation?
Yes.
Now, Matt, since you're new, just so you understand, this is really most important for HF. For like 2 meter and 440, well, the bonding may provide some limited advantage. Would you agree with that? But
yeah.
Vert is fine. It's way too easier.
Yeah, and you people that run HF mag mounts, quick, easy fix, boy, you're on here, you better ground that mag mount. You're just wasting your time if you don't. You have to grab the mag. I always have clips already made, ground with clips on them, and a lot of round cars come off right where the door latches are where I ground. I've got all my special little tactics where I go for all this, but yeah,
so
you have
what are you grounding the mag mount to?
To the bottom.
At the door?
I generally go to the door. I generally go to the door latch. And on the back door, I always get a 4-door, generally right in there, or sometimes up on top there'll be a molding screw that just back out and clamp on.
Wow.
But it works. It works. And I don't like rental cars. It's just so it's not comfortable. You know, I got a station in mind, and everything's right there. You know, everything. And get in there, and everything kind of makeshift. When I went out to Washington, my girlfriend went with me, and that was the first time I had taken her along, or anybody, on all my flying trips. And you know, she wanted some of my time. She offered to drive some of the time, and I got all this stuff, like she calls it. So I finally set up my station in the back seat. I have those beanbag things like you put on your laptop at home. That's my desk. So I set everything up in the back seat, and when I drove, stopped at the county line, I'd get back there and operate. When she drove, oh, that was sweet. Yeah, I'm just sitting back there, you know. And I put a set of headsets on because she doesn't do CW, and there's nothing worse if somebody doesn't know CW. It's crazy. Now, I have the most fun. I'm so fortunate. My son, WAJJ, who went out and got Joe's last one, and that was a true story. I was in Minnesota, and I'm going to go back to that story a little bit. I was in Minnesota. Tim and I had talked. He said, well, Dad, if you get him in Minnesota, when you come back, he said, let's both go out to Pennsylvania and get Joe his last one. But my son's a CW on, too. He prefers CW. So when he drives, and he does CW, but he's better at it than I am. He drives 70 miles an hour, he's talking to me and working you people, and I'm over there. But I log for it. So I get to log for it. I mean, it's so cool, or I'll be doing something and I get distracted, and I'll send a did-it-on-did-it question mark, and he'll say that was DL4AX4 or something, you know. Yeah, he's driving, and he says, yeah, you know, unbelievable. So anyway, that's fun when you have, but when you have somebody that doesn't know CW, that's awful. And I wouldn't put her through that. But it was fun. She was a good trooper. She's a minister, but she's got 4 degrees, and one of her degrees is in urban planning. Now that's not good for a county hunter, because every time there's a historical marker or something, when she's driving, she's got the car, right? She goes by it, oh hell no, U-turn, we're coming back, you know. So, which is fine. I say that tongue in cheek. But so she's an urban planner, and she loves history, and she's got to know every marker and what it is. And same when we go quad riding. I'm a quad rider. We're going up to Brimley, up to in the UP here in a couple weeks to ride up along Lake Superior, and yeah, I've already got email about Tonquamanon Falls and this and that in Sioux, and got to stop in a little town called Rudyard and check on this, and, you know, so. Any other questions?
Do you have your mobile rig here?
Do I have it here?
Yeah.
I don't have it in right now. I don't have my radio in, I don't have my antenna on, but anybody wants to see the bonding, grounding, my inverter, yeah.
With all the computers in a car today, have you had any problems with your 100 watts interfering with any of them?
Never. Never. Because I make sure that everything is toroided good. More so than, I don't wait till I have a problem and then try to find it. You know what? And I use an intermod choke right off the bat with 9 winds on 2.5-inch toroids right at the radio.
On your antenna wire or your power wire or both?
Both. Both. That's all done both, right off the bat. I'm not going to wait until my windshield wipers start going on their own and cruise control kicks off. And, no, I do it all up front. Do it all up front. And that guy right there helped me with a lot of that right there, Chuck. A lot of conversations about that. Do it up front, you don't have it on the back end. I've never had a light come on. I don't do the 200-watt radios. I don't do power. Put your money in the antenna, and put your money in the bonding, put your money in some toroids up front, make some intermod chokes, and you don't have a problem. I have people, I don't want to say this grandiosely now, but Joe has told me I sometimes don't take as much credit as I have given back to this hobby, but I have people call me that are broke down on the road all over the U.S., mobile. They had blah, 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 you know, first thing, what do? We started the battery. Take the terminal off. Well, I wiggled it. No, take it off. Well, it's all corroded. Oh, really? One guy didn't have any tools. He was in Texas. He called me and everything shut down, blah, blah, blah. So I told him the battery, you have to take it. First, you have to take the cable off. Just wiggle and look. Don't get it. Well, he didn't have any tools. I said, do you happen to have a screw with you in your tool? Yeah. I said, take a screw and right at the terminal where your connector is, take a screwdriver and give it about 3 turns. Guess what? It was on the air. Voltage, voltage, voltage. I've had people call me, you know, this all. It's all simple stuff, guys, but people don't want to take the time. They want to put the radio in and play. You can't do that. You can't do that. Do your homework. I'm no physics engineer, but you know a lot of this stuff is Easter Bunny shit to me. But I know what doesn't work. You know, some of this stuff I've never been able to figure out why or what. Any more questions? Well, yes, sir.
By any chance, have you ever rented a hybrid vehicle? Hybrid. Have you ever rented
No, but I have talked to people that have, and they said it won't work. No, they said it won't work.
You say what won't work?
That hybrid noise.
Can't get a good 12-volt off it, or is it noise all the charging systems?
Yeah, the noise. They couldn't get the noise out. They could not get the noise out. I'm not going to attempt it.
Probably if you stop, it wouldn't matter.
Yeah, and that'll get you in trouble too. Last time that happened to me, I was in Alexandria, Illinois. A guy in California needed at Alexandria, Illinois, and I was at the end of the run, and he had tried, and somebody had called me, or they sent on CW that, you know, he was he was in there, listened for him again. Yeah, what? Yeah, I remember that now. W0GXQ from Minnesota. He tapped me out and he said that Daryl was in there. I shut the car off. Okay, for noise. I wanted to get every ounce of thing. Well, then I did get it, but then the pilot started coming. Now I said, "I'll clean them up." I didn't turn the car back on. Guess. Yeah. I started FMing, and by that time it's too late. And but people are nice. I was parked right there. I think it was Alexander and Union County line. So I was dead. So I walked, which I did not have a voltage booster in then. The voltage booster won't let me because I won't let it get below 9.5 volts, and it shuts the radio down so my car will start. But I walked across the street and there was a minister lived there. There was a church right there and the minister's house was right there. I walked over and told him I had a dead battery. Any chance to get in the junk? Oh yeah, he come right over and helped me out. I pulled out $20 and he wouldn't take it. I said, well, how about putting it in the offering next Sunday? He took it. So, every day's a story out there, folks.
Ed, thank you very much.